Today we're diving into a really comprehensive system for consciously accessing your own inner guidance, which was conceived and, I have to say, beautifully documented by artist, author, philosopher Kim S. McKenzie. Our source material for this is just fascinating. We have conceptual notes, there's an accompanying piece of visualization art, and a really striking poem called City of Stars. All of this comes from her book, Homage to the Stars by Day and by Night. So our mission for you is to not just see the beauty of this artwork, but to actually treat it like a functional instruction manual. We're going to dissect this model she's designed to help foster deep contemplation and actively engage what she calls your internal sources of guidance.
And that setup is so important because the premise here is what makes it so fascinating. This isn't just some creative inspiration she had. Mackenzie is very explicit that the whole concept came from and is totally rooted in her own deep dreamscape experiences. She actually asserts that the dreamscape isn't just random brain activity. She calls it the storehouse of our most profound and instructional wisdom. Our goal today is to really get how she translates this profound and usually inaccessible internal experience into what she calls the star message, her interpretation of the language of dreams. And they act as this tangible, repeatable roadmap for us to access that same subconscious clarity.
I really like that phrasing, a repeatable roadmap. It elevates the work from something that's merely beautiful to something genuinely instructive. And the star message itself is such a powerful metaphor for that enlightened thought received, as her notes say, from deep in the night. So it's about consciously engaging with that nocturnal intelligence.
And that takes us right to the central destination in this whole framework, the City of Stars. It's the target of the entire method.
The title is so evocative. So if we're accepting the premise that the dreamscape is this storehouse of wisdom, what is the City of Stars within that mental architecture? Is it like the heart of the storehouse?
It is the ultimate source. The whole rationale behind her system is based on this idea that the human psyche can and actually should consciously seek out and commune with its own interior sources of guidance. That internal source, that reservoir of clarity and instruction, which she calls vitalizing wisdom, that is what the City of Stars represents. It's the ultimate center, spiritually or psychologically.
Okay, that helps ground it. So we're not talking about a literal constellation or something. It's an internal state.
It's presented as a functional access point. So the City of Stars is this comprehensive conceptual model for dream communication that she built. It provides this visual and poetic roadmap, and it details the exact methods that worked for her. It's less philosophy and more like personalized psychological engineering.
I see. So it's the destination, and she's sharing the path she took to get there. This means it requires deliberate practice then. It's not just about passive dreaming, which brings up the next crucial piece, the tools for the journey. Mackenzie says that the internal preparation involves developing two specific interior faculties. We need to know what those are.
Right, and this is where it gets really concrete. She details two faculties that she says anyone can develop. The first one is imagination. And crucially, she's not defining this as, simple fantasy or just daydreaming. She describes it as our intrinsic, focused, inner visualization capacity. It's the channel we use to construct and see internal imagery. It's your inner eye.
Your inner eye, okay.
And the second faculty.
The second is intuition. So if imagination is inner sight, she defines intuition as our inner hearing, our receptive sense of knowing. It's the channel where we perceive that non-visual, deep understanding, insights, or that sudden gut feeling.
So I think most of us just lump them together, We get a flash of insight. But Mackenzie is giving you two distinct, separate channels to focus on during her process. So you're actively tuning your inner eye to see the images and your inner ear to hear that sudden, unexpected insight. And she really stresses that by acknowledging and actively developing both of these distinct capacities, anyone can start to encounter that instructional clarity she talks about. It becomes this bilateral process, seeing and hearing.
That makes the connection so much more powerful. It's not for some special genius. It's about intentionally developing skills you already have. So now we know what the city is and what internal tools we need to use. Let's get to the roadmap. How do we maximize the chance of actually receiving a clear star message?
Her source material is very, very prescriptive about this. She identifies a really specific window of opportunity. The clearest communication, and this is a quote, is received just before we wake up in the early hours of the morning.
That timing seems crucial. The magic happens right as the world is starting to stir, but we're still deeply connected to the night. Is there like a physiological reason that timing is so good?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where her whole concept aligns so beautifully with sleep science. She's targeting the hypnopompic state. That's the transition period out of sleep, often right out of REM. It's a state where the brain is experiencing really vivid imagery. It's highly suggestible, but your rational waking mind hasn't quite clamped down and started censoring everything. It's the perfect window to access and, importantly, record those nonlinear insights before they just dissolve.
That really grounds the whole method in practical reality. Okay, so if that's our target window, what preparation do we need to do before we even go to sleep? Because, setting an intention is advice we hear all the time. What's the distinction she makes that takes this from just a good habit to a unique pathway?
The distinction is all in the specificity of the connection you're making. So yes, the steps do involve, one, setting your objective really clearly as an intention before you sleep. You're giving your inner faculties a task. And two, the practical stuff is mandatory. You have to have a journal and pen right there at your bedside. No excuses. You have to capture it immediately.
But the truly unique part, the part that actually links your conscious mind to the city of stars, is that final act before sleep. The one that ties directly back to her artwork and the poem.
Precisely. The goal is to tune your internal radio to the right frequency. So just before you close your eyes, the recommendation is to contemplate the poem and the artwork. The idea here is to let the rhythm, the tone, the specific visual cues from her work, to let it genuinely prepare your mind for dreamscape communication. It's not a passive reading.
And the source describes this very specific, almost mystical visualization technique here, the little bridge of light.
It's an activation technique. You're told to imagine a little bridge of light that extends from your conscious mind. So the part of you getting ready for sleep, and it connects directly to the physical artwork, or even just the mental image of it. This bridge is the conscious channel you're building to the city. And once you feel like that psychic bridge is there, you actively allow your inner sensing faculties, your imagination, your sight, and your intuition, your hearing, to merge and oscillate with the deep intent of the star message. You are deliberately setting the energetic frequency to receive that instructed insight from your inner center.
Wow, that level of conscious connection is so much more involved. It's like setting up a targeted internal Wi-Fi signal aimed right at the source. Okay, let's turn to the message itself. The poem, City of Stars, is what she recorded from her own experience. What does the message tell us about the destination?
Well, the poem is like the ultimate instruction manual, but delivered in verse. It starts by defining the location and the nature of this source. It gives it this monumental importance. It's described as the holiest center, the grandest light show. So it immediately establishes this internal city as a place of real spiritual and psychological power, not just a metaphor for a good idea. The construction details are so important. It's described as a magnetized core boasting phosphorous roads. Just think about that imagery for a second. A core that literally draws you in, and roads that aren't paved with stone, but with light. These roads are the pathways of energy and information that flow out from that center. You could almost see them as the internal neurological or energetic pathways of wisdom.
And these phosphorus roads, they do more than just let you move around. They weave starlight silk for infinity robes. That's a huge concept. The road itself is a weaver. What is that silk? What are the robes supposed to be?
The silk and the robes, they speak to the creative and protective and eternal quality of the wisdom you get there. The roads don't just take you somewhere, they create protection and knowledge. The infinity robes are the resulting wisdom itself. They're the understanding that embraces and protects you from the anxieties of the world. It's the realization of some eternal truth created from the city's energy.
And the ultimate purpose of that wisdom is stated right there in the poem, isn't it? It ties it all back to the core mission of instruction.
Exactly. The robes are meant to embrace and enshroud us through each starry night, to teach us true wisdom, the message of light. So the wisdom isn't some distant philosophy. It's literally woven into the fabric of the night experience. It protects and covers us. It makes the guidance so immediate and personal.
That final bit really provides the closed loop. The practical steps from before, setting the intention, using the faculties, they lead directly to these conceptual results. The poem ends by confirming that when you actively enter the spirit of night and connect to the substance of cosmos as pure starlight, it results in new dreams that are inspired afar with bright golden wisdom from City of Stars. It's a complete journey from intention to enlightenment.
It is. It's a complete synthesis of art and methodology. Mackenzie is offering a deeply conscious method for using the power of deep sleep, of those fragile pre-waking hours, to get clarity and instruction that you just can't access when your rational mind is in charge. It really validates the pursuit of those internal, non-rational sources of knowledge.
So what does this all mean for you listening to this? We've seen that the City of Stars is presented as this sophisticated, structured method. It's about consciously using art, focused intention, and a very specific window of time to tap directly into your mind's two critical interior faculties: your imagination, your inner sight, and your intuition, your inner hearing. And this whole complex process is designed for one single purpose: receiving profound instructional guidance.
Exactly right. This deep dive has hopefully given you the detailed roadmap and the rationale for connecting to these sources of clarity, the sources of what she calls vitalizing wisdom that are already residing right there inside you. It's the blueprint for self-directed psychological exploration.